There's just so much going on at the moment. Yo, what's going on, friends? How's it going? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you lot are all doing well today. My friends, namaste and all that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily and sometimes twice daily series here on Football Therapy where I see what's being said about the Blues in the news. God, I hate rhyming. Giving you my opinion on it, but more importantly asking for yours. Two stories I want to talk about in today's video. Willian of Arsenal is expected to leave this summer. That's right, he's only been there a season and he's already wants to go. The club probably want him to go as well, let's be honest. And his preferred destination is none other than Chelsea Football Club. Lots to get into there. Also, I want to talk about the story coming out of ESPN regarding Callum Hudson-Odoi to Dortmund to replace Jadon Sancho. What are the potentialities and possibilities here, and what does Chelsea need to be mindful of? I'm going to get into that and give you my opinion on it. Do consider subscribing to this channel if you're new to Football Therapy, daily content of course, and hit the bell notifications icon to be notified when I upload. You can be the first to watch, make sure that bell's hit. And if you enjoy the content, you can let me know by dropping a like on the video. Alright then, let's get into the first story of today's video and talk about Willian. That's right, Willian signed to Arsenal on a 3-year deal, transferring as a free transfer. A very peculiar situation where a lot of Arsenal fans were not sure they wanted it at first. Yes, he had a good season the season prior at Chelsea under Frank Lampard, his best ever season at Chelsea in fact, in terms of productivity, goals and assists. And Chelsea generally wanted to keep him, ideally on a 1-year deal, a 1-year extension. They actually pushed that desire to a 2-year deal to keep him happy, but no, Willian demanded 3 years of his next contract, that or bust. Chelsea didn't offer that, and Arsenal did, so he signed to the red side of North London and has had a dismal season, scoring only 1 Premier League goal in the entire campaign, which is just incredible. Naturally, you'd imagine the club regret it because he's on massive wages and he's on a 3-year deal and seemingly his best days are behind him, and it goes against the ethos of this new Arsenal trying to bring in youngsters and stuff. The deal was terrible, to be honest, and now he's expected to leave in the summer, which is, you know, you think maybe Arsenal would get a few quid for him, even if it's only a few million. Considering he signed on a free, it's probably not the worst thing in the world. But reportedly he wants to come back to Chelsea. I'm going to cite now the article from Sky Sports and then give you my thoughts on this. Former Chelsea forward Willian is understood to be keen on a return to Stamford Bridge. Last summer Chelsea worked hard to extend the 32-year-old's contract, but were unwilling to offer him the 3-year deal, leading to his move to North London as a free agent. After less than a year at the Emirates and with just 1 goal in 37 appearances, Willian is understood to be keen to consider his options. Yeah, funny that, innit? Let's read on. A number of clubs in Europe, as well as David Beckham's MLS side Inter Miami, are working hard to sign the Brazilian, but Sky Sports News have learned that a return to Stamford Bridge is Willian's #1 choice. Willian is contracted at Arsenal to the end of 2023, but Sky Sports understand that he would likely leave on a free from Arsenal to free up the wages for their transfer targets. Well, there you go, maybe they'll get $1 million for him, or to be honest, because he's on so many wages, they'd probably just cut ties and be like, you know what, whatever, go on a free, and if he's on a free transfer, he can get more money as a signing on fee, probably for Inter Miami. But his preference is Chelsea Football Club, so let's talk about that a little bit. His biggest ally in his latter years at Chelsea was Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard's the one who believed in him as a senior player, and to make no bones about it, Willian was very, very good for Chelsea in his last season under Frank Lampard. That was his best ever season at Chelsea, and he's won a couple of Premier Leagues at Chelsea. So, you know, go figure, he had a very good season. There's a reason why Chelsea wanted to keep him, but Chelsea fans didn't mind that he went on a free because we brought in Havertz, Ziyech, Werner, you know, Hudson-Odoi's coming through, Pulisic is, you know, an amazing winner. Chelsea were like, you know what, fine, it would have been nice to have him for 12 more months on current form to sort of bring in these youngsters, but a 3-year deal? No way, bruv. And the fact how we offered him a 2-year deal actually made me a little bit squirmish and nervous. Frank Lampard would have given him the 3-year deal had the club sanctioned it. So he was his biggest ally, and bruv, Willian, I don't know if you've read the newspapers, Frank Lampard has been sacked and he's no longer at Chelsea Football Club. So, you know, even if like, what do you want, a 12-month deal at Chelsea? Maybe. A lot of Chelsea fans will still say they'd have Willian back, but after that dismal season at Arsenal, No way, bro. Like, no way. No way. We've been linked with Eden Hazard coming back. And out of the two, I know who I'd want. Hazard's younger, and it's Eden Hazard. Willian, well, you know, a sensational story, really. I find it highly unlikely to impossible Willian will return to Chelsea. Into Miami makes a lot of sense. Go to America with your family. Very nice. Hang out with Beckham. Get paid good wages. You know, see out the end of your career, and you'll be the superstar over there. So it makes a lot of sense. Chelsea have got loads of wide attackers, and if we are to get another one, it's not going to be you, Willian, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for an awesome service at Chelsea, but we're going to have to pour cold water all over on this. Right, before we get into the next story, I quickly want to urge you guys to go check out my second channel, Football Yannick, where I'm doing daily uploads. There's 2 uploads on the channel today, actually, much like Football Therapy, and you might enjoy it. I talk about the England squad, and I'm talking about loads of stuff. So I should be able to put a card up here if I remember. If I fail to do that, just click the link in the description. It will lead you straight to Football Yannick. Cool, thank you for supporting that channel as well. Right, as we get into the next story of this video and talk about young Callum Hudson-Odoi. Right, the curious case of Callum Hudson-Odoi, an absolutely superb, talented youngster. I was at Stamford Bridge when he got his first goal and assist. I believe it was in the Europa League. Was it under Conte or was it under Sarri? I think it's probably under Sarri. Anyway, superb young player, amazing young talent. We all know that. Bayern Munich were going to break the bank to get him. German scouts adore him. Frank Lampard convinced him to sign a new deal, and Callum Hudson-Odoi himself came out and said on 2 occasions Frank was the reason why he re-signed. Still, he didn't play that much under Frank Lampard, and seemingly is out of favour under Thomas Tuchel after a positive start playing at right wing back. Now, I'm going to cite an article from EUROSPORT linking him to Borussia Dortmund. I'm going to give you my opinion on potential transfer for him and what it might mean for Jadon Sancho and what it might mean for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who, by all accounts, isn't the most impressive player for Thomas Tuchel at the moment in terms of attitude. We know he's got a high sort of opinion of himself, and I don't want to say that in a bad way because you need to be confident. And he surrounds himself with his advisors like his brother, who perhaps gave him some bad advice early doors, in my opinion, regarding the Bayern Munich transfer. Anyway, he's a superb talent, and I love Callum Hudson-Odoi, and I'm going to put it in now. I do not want to sell him at any cost. I think he's an excellent asset to Chelsea, and perhaps the fact how he's so young, he just needs to mature a little bit. So let me read you this story from Eurosport, and then I'll give you my full opinion on the situation and options. Dortmund interested in Hudson-Odoi. Chelsea are willing to let Callum Hudson-Odoi leave this summer, and Borussia Dortmund could open up as a potential destination. He was limited to just 10 starts this season, as both Frank Lampard and Thomas Tuchel regularly overlooked him, even though the current boss seemed to take to Hudson-Odoi at first. He's not lived up to the hype that drove Chelsea to hand him a £120,000 a week contract to keep him away from Bayern Munich, and is now being indicated that they are open to him leaving next season. Yeah, so he's on a really big contract, but his talent probably would dictate that contract, but if perhaps his work ethic would also meet his talent, which I'm not sure it does at the moment, maybe for being young. And this is just my opinion and sort of speculation to a degree, so don't roast me in the comments. This is just me putting it out there. But let's read on a little bit more. The valuation is unclear at this stage, but it's understood Chelsea may even be open to letting the player leave on loan if the majority of wages are covered by the next club. Dortmund are looking at potential new attacking options in light of the fact Jadon Sancho will be allowed to leave this summer, with Manchester United in the driving seat yet again to sign him. They are believed to have made a tentative inquiries about the terms that it might take to sign Callum Hudson-Odoi as a replacement, though there are other options to be explored as well, including Lille's Jonathan Okone and Leeds United's Rafinha. Interestingly, Chelsea have been kept aware of Sancho's situation, but the player is understood to remain set on joining United as his top choice. Still, Chelsea stole in to sign Timo Werner and Kai Havertz unexpectedly last summer, and will want to be included in any conversations when the time comes for Sancho. So naturally the thought would occur, right, well they want to sign Callum Hudson-Odoi as a Jadon Sancho replacement. Chelsea are interested in Jadon Sancho. You think, wow, Chelsea suddenly have the edge. Should they want to sign Jadon Sancho to start, you'd put Callum Hudson-Odoi the other way. Now, is Jadon Sancho an amazing player and would I love him at Chelsea? Yes. Do I think we should give them Callum Hudson-Odoi plus a load of money for the player? No. And I'll tell you why, because Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think he's a little bit younger, not much, but he's so incredibly talented. German scouts in the Bundesliga from Bayern to Dortmund, you know, the giants, They adore Callum Hudson-Odoi. Bayern Munich thought he was better than Jadon Sancho and wanted to bring him in and show, Sancho levels when he's playing, in Bavaria. Do you know what I mean? I'm not personally saying I think Hudson-Odoi is way better than Sancho, but I think his ceiling is so high and we haven't seen it yet. He's an incredible talent and has been throughout his youth career and indeed his senior career, but perhaps certain defensive, lapses or whatever, maybe not being the best in training, has let him down. So in my opinion, he needs to mature as a player. And he can do that by going to Dortmund. Would be an excellent club for him to do so. Let's, make no bones about it. Let's have it right. Maybe on a loan or 2-year loan. Imagine what he could do, like scoring loads of goals in the Bundesliga, lighting it up. It's probably just basically doing what Jadon Sancho did, expressing himself, because they've got similar play styles and, similar talent levels. So I think Hudson-Odoi would absolutely be amazing for them. And maybe that could work for Dortmund. If, say, they sell Sancho to United or maybe Chelsea, but more likely United for a lot of money. And in the meantime, they get Hudson-Odoi as a stopgap, just to be a talented player in the Champions League for the next season, while they identify their options and, develop Gio Reyna and stuff. Chelsea have their player developing, and getting his confidence and maturation higher and becoming a better player away in Dortmund. That's an ideal and perfect situation for me. That he has probably a one-season loan. I'd like to see that, but starting all the time, which I believe he would, especially if Sancho goes. And then, Chelsea can focus on Pulisic, and Ziyech is a little bit more senior. Werner's still going to play out wide. Do you know what I mean? And then from there, we can see what's going on, and Chelsea might still buy another attacker that's not a striker. We'll have to see. Still, I'm keen on getting your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on both these stories, Willian and Hudson-Odoi. Drop it down in the comment section below. I'll be there reading them. Drop a like if you want to show your support, and if you're yet to subscribe, I'd urge you to subscribe to both this channel, Football Therapy, and my sister channel, Football Yannick. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double, silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, bitch.